is a little bit of Angel of Death from Buggs Tha Rocka. This is Rapping with Leiberman, the program presented by EveryJoe. What we say here is real news with rappers' points of view. And I want to say good evening to everybody, and thank you for joining us on Rapping with Leiberman. We're going to bring in our special guest, Buggs Tha Rocka, in just a moment. He was voted Cincinnati Hip Hop Artist of the Year. He just played South by Southwest. And Buggs, welcome in. Hey, I heard that you just got signed to a new label, right?
Oh, yes, with Mr. Talib Kweli.
That's amazing. I mean, what is that moment like when you find out that you're signed to a new label?
Well, it's been kind of ongoing for a while. Like me and Kweli have a real good relationship, but honestly, man, it was kind of a surprise. Like it was just like something that just kind of just sprung up on me. Like you know what I mean? Like I got a email, then I got a call, and he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna fly into Cincinnati to talk to you about some things." And he came down to Cincinnati, man, which was showing me he was super serious, like, you know, a super big famous rapper like Talib Kweli, man, who's, you know, as prestigious as him as a lyricist, coming down to little old Cincinnati, Ohio, said a whole lot. So, yeah, and it feels super good, man, and I'm very excited about things to come.
Hey, what do you try to convey in your music and in your lyrics, Buggs?
Honestly, just genuineness and sincerity, just about what's going on in my life and just growing up in Cincinnati, Ohio. It's like its own planet and its own world within the world. You know what I'm saying? So I just try to bring people into my universe and what's going on here and the reality that we live in here growing up in Ohio.
Yeah, you know, I listened to Scattered Thoughts of an American Poet, and I was curious, how did you come up with that?
Well, just really honestly, the whole consensus of this album was basically just, you know, it was a whole bunch of thoughts and poems that were like scattered in my notebook and in my mind that I had that I didn't put on like any project or anything. So it all started from a bunch of random like verses and poems that I had. And that's kind of like the whole consensus of this album, like just a whole bunch of random thoughts and feelings that I want to just to share with everybody over the past year or two that I was just internally going through. So I just wanted to bring a lot of different emotions and points of views that of a lot of different subjects that were going on between that time frame. So that's how we came up with the album, and because that's really all it is a whole bunch of scattered thoughts. And I feel like, you know, being focusing more on lyricism and content and substance. And that's where the American poet came from. Like I'm a big Doors fan, like Jim Morrison. Like he always, you know, I had a shirt that said American poet, and that's one thing that I always wanted to kind of like make sure I honed in on, like just crafting words, you know, just not saying things that rhyme, but things that actually matter to me.
You know, a lot of people have predicted that rap is dead or it's close to being dead. I would imagine you don't agree with that premise.
Exactly. It's a handful of rappers that's really out here just for the art form, and you know, keeping the essence pretty pure. And I definitely don't agree. I do agree that to some extent, rap in general has changed. You know, like as far as being like a very popular genre now, like, and it's basically become almost like pop music. But you know, it's still a lot of artists, just including like the artists that I'm signed to, Talib Kweli. Like, you know, it's a lot of artists like that keep the art form pure. So, and I'm one of those artists as well. So it's definitely not on dead. We could say life support, but hip hop is definitely not dead.
All right, we'll say life support, and I'm going to give you a few minutes to think up a rhyme that we're going to have you do at the end of the program. But right now, it's time for a segment that we call One on One. And this is where we talk about news and what's going on in the world. And we're going to get Buggs' thoughts on some very important issues. Buggs, I want to start with politics. You're in Ohio. Should Ohio Governor John Kasich jump in the race for president?
No. No, no. Honestly, um, it's sad that to see Obama run coming to an end. I thought Obama did a lot of good stuff, and I always think when it comes to presidential candidates, a lot of the stuff they do, you don't really, while they're in office, you really don't see till after they're gone. You know what I'm saying? So I just honestly think, in Ohio right now, it's a whole bunch of racial tension and a whole lot of craziness going on down here that we need to get in order before anybody try to go take on the rest of the world. We need to get Ohio in order right now because Ohio is kind of spiraling right now.
Why do you think there is so much racial tension right now in your state? And
Well,
what
we
can be done about it?
well, okay, now you heard about the Walmart incident with the guy from Walmart that got killed in Walmart. I don't know if you heard about that, but
Yeah.
just things like that. Like it was a guy from Walmart. He was in there looking at the air pump guns and in Ohio, and then security came and somebody called because they were scared for some weird reason. The guy was on the phone with his girlfriend and he was just these guns were in the aisle. They're not real guns. I mean, they sell them at Walmart. It's a whole aisle dedicated to the guns. He was in that aisle. Security came and just basically which was security was, the police. And, man, they shot him down. He was so scared, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't even get a chance to really do anything, so they just shot him, man. It was just crazy, man. And we going through all that, man. Like we got the race riots that happened for Timothy Thomas years ago. It's just a whole lot of, and of course the verdict for that, they got off for it. I mean, it's just a whole lot of unspoken tension and unresolved cases.
Well, let me ask you this: when you walk down the street, Buggs, in Cincinnati, do you fear that you will be profiled?
Yes, honestly, yes. It's not something that I really often worry about, but I know it's a reality and it happens and it can happen. I'm kind of just in the clouds all day anyway, so I don't fear walking anywhere just because I'm born and raised from here. But you can definitely feel the tension, and it's definitely a reality of being from Ohio.
Well, we're talking about racial issues. Chris Rock keeps getting pulled over. He's blaming racial profiling. Do you agree?
Yeah, to a certain extent, I do. I mean, it's definitely a reality. We go through it down here a lot, and I feel like when you're a person of color, whether you know what I'm saying, it's just you're just easily targeted. They think you have something in your car, maybe from maybe at least marijuana, to be able to at least check your car to see if you got anything else. And it's always something, man. I can agree with him a little bit. I don't know his actual circumstances.
Right.
I've been hearing that myself. I don't know his actual circumstances or why the police keep pulling him over, but that's definitely could be possible. I know if he was here in Ohio, definitely for sure, that's a reality.
And let me ask you this, since we're still talking race, you probably heard the Kentucky basketball player Andrew Harrison. He's African American. He quietly said, F that N-word during a question about Wisconsin star Frank Kaminsky. He then apologized. Do you think he should have apologized for using the N-word in that context?
Yeah. I mean, I think it was unprofessional. You know what I'm saying? My biggest gripe with that is that it was unprofessional. When you're in college or NBA professional level basketball, it's all about being a professional, and that's your job. So a job, no matter if he was black or white or any color, I think just that language. And at that time, I know he was upset because it's in the heat of a moment. And, it's sports. He's in the heat of the moment at the time, and I think he really didn't mean what he said to be any harm. But at the end of the day, it's all about being a professional. So he was out of line, and I wonder what they're gonna do to him for that comment. I mean, I know it'll probably be some type of penalty or whatever, but you gotta watch what you say when you're in a public eye, man. You're on TV.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think he just learned that the hard way. Even though he's a college kid, he's still on the biggest stage during basketball. We spoke about President Obama. Let me ask you this, Buggs. This Iran nuclear deal. In an interview, the president just called the preliminary agreement a, quote, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to curb the spread of nuclear weapons. Do you agree with that?
Man, yo, no, I don't. I mean, honestly, like, man, there's a whole bunch of craziness going on in the government right now, like especially with the military in armed defense. Like, I just think it's a lot of stuff they don't tell us. And I think what we don't know is what's gonna hurt us. I mean, they leave the public kind of ignorant to a certain extent. Like, they only release certain documents. I do know that, and I don't really know the whole basis of what's going on with that. And that's the issue, man. They don't let the American people know really what's going on. Like, and I just think whatever going on over there, like, it's going to be to their benefit. I think they're wasting a whole lot of money on a lot of nonsense right now over there anyway, man. With what they doing with our money, with taxpayers' money, man. I don't think it has got any better than it was. I mean, I think it's just an illusion. So I don't think Obama. I don't know really, man. Obama, man, with that, I can't really say, man. It's hard. It's hard to really agree with that.
Do
You know what
you
I'm saying?
fear? Do you fear Iran developing nuclear weapons and using them in our lifetime here against us?
Nah. No, I'm not gonna say that it's not happening because it could honestly be, but honestly, like our government is so official. Like as far as with our military defense, we're so official. Like as far as like making sure we hold the fort down over here and make it. We all in a business, man. It ain't too much they doing that I'm sure our government doesn't know about. Like we're all in everybody business. That's what's been America's problem for centuries and centuries, and a while a lot of wars got started. So honestly, I don't fear that Iran is going to do anything coming up in the years to coming up while I'm alive. I doubt it, man. I seriously doubt it.
You think we should be more isolationist, not worry so much about what goes on over there and take care of our own people here?
Exactly. I just feel like it's a lot of social issues that we need to get here. Like we need to take care of here at home first. I mean, I think a lot of a lot of the issues with over there is beyond us. What I mean by that, beyond us, is like it's for personal gain. Like you know what I'm saying? Like for them, like it's a whole bunch of money involved. It's a whole lot of like basically, I think it all stems over money and resources, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I think we just need to stay in our lane, man, and kind of like back off them people, man. They got their own way of doing things, and we got our way of doing things. And I think America's been a big bully, and I think people really just getting tired of it, man.
You talked about things here at home. Let's talk about the economy a little bit. It's been a big issue there in your state, especially in your city of Cincinnati. There's been a sharp drop across the country in hiring last month. So my question for you is, first of all, do you think our economy is headed to another slowdown?
Definitely, I definitely is heading for a slowdown, and you're right, man. Honestly, John, man, it's been a lot of issues here with job employment here at where I'm from, man, and it's been a big issue for a couple months now, man. And I think just people, man, we just need to do something, here to get more people jobs, man. It's just crazy, man. Like people want to work, people qualified to work. It should be work for them, man. If you don't work, you don't eat. It's simple as that, man. Like, and when you stop giving people those options, that's when you have more crime and people doing things out of desperation. You know what I'm saying? Just to support their family, and that's it's just craziness. Man, I think it definitely is. Overall, is going to be a slowdown. Like actually, man, being over here in Ohio, things are definitely slowing down here.
All right, now we get to that last segment of our show. We call it Wrap It Up. And for the Wrap It Up segment, I'm going to read you this, Buggs, from EveryJoe.com. Quote, if found guilty, should Bergdahl be sentenced to death? The Army charged Bo Bergdahl with desertion and misbehavior before the enemy. So I'm going to ask you, if he's found guilty, should he get death?
No, no. Honestly, you know why? You know why I feel like he shouldn't get death? Because the simple fact, you're not teaching killing people, man, is not the way to go about it, man. Honestly, man, like you're not teaching them a lesson. They're dead. Like, you know what I mean? They're not changing nothing, man. Like, no, do not. Serve more purpose than killing them, man. I don't think violence is always the answer for it.
Well, let me ask you this. What is the biggest problem facing young black men today?
Honestly, you know what it is, man. I just think it's communication, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Communication with the powers to be. I think it needs to be a voice for the black community, man, and the powers to be, man. I think Obama, you know, man, he tried to do a little bit, but man, it needs to be a more stern presence in the black community and between the governments and the power to be, man, to let them know, like, you know, all these social issues that strike our communities every day. And I think, you know, man, if we can somehow improve the economy as far as giving people jobs and stuff, it'll give some of these young black people and these low income families, you know, not just black, just people of any color, man, just low income people just in general, something to look forward to, man, just as far as work and education wise. I think that's really the issue, man. So we just need to do a better job with getting the American people jobs, man, and having an open line of communication where people don't feel like it's always us against them, man. And I think communication rules the nation. We just need a better job of open lines of communication. Just like this show, man, it's dope to come on here and speak about certain issues, man. And I think you're doing a beautiful job, man. And hopefully this can be the start of some change, man, just between people, man. Hip hop speaks to a lot of people of all different cultures, man, and music in general does. So I think this is something dope, man, that you're doing, man. So I want to congratulate you, man, on what you got going on, John, man.
Well, we appreciate it. You know, we know there's a voice out there. It's just nobody's giving you guys a voice to reach kind of the more mainstream audience. You hear the same voices day in and day out talking about the news of the day, and that's why we're having people like you on, rappers, hip-hop artists, producers, because you guys have a lot to say. You say it in your lyrics. Speaking of, drop a quick rhyme for us before we let you go. Give us a little taste of something.
Okay.
I'm putting you on the spot.
Lord, forgive them. They had a history divide us for religion. You know what? We need divine intervention from the devil and his henchmen to play my people with the sickness. Brought crack to the projects. They either down from addiction or they trapped in the system. Either way, you a victim, can't you like an animal, and that's just how they depict them. Give you false scriptures, so you never know who they praying to as they beat you. With the Billy Club in the land of the equal, this how they treat you. Racially profile, call you a nigga who low down, believe every day this type of bullshit go down. Screams from the ghettos and echoes loud. Foul how they just laugh over the sound. For my sanity, I write it all down. So many tears over the years I could have drowned. Too many inmates, not enough cap and gowns. Too many escorts, not enough wedding gowns. Too much pain, not enough pure smile. My cousin told me, never stop chasing your dreams. Make sure you hold it down as he sits in a cell locked down. Confined for a few years, but say it's safer in there than we being out here. The real. Watch what you believe. Buggs Tha Rocka.
Buggs, that was great. I can't tie it up any better than that. Listen, thank you for your time. You'll come visit us when all your new material comes out. Congratulations on the new label, and thanks for giving us a few minutes. We appreciate it.
Definitely, John, man. Thank you for having me on, man. Peace and love, man. Buggs Tha Rocka.
We'll see you soon again, Buggs. That's Buggs Tha Rocka, the hottest name out of Cincinnati, and I want to thank him for coming on the program. I want to thank you for watching. A lot more big guests coming up. You can subscribe to the EveryJoe YouTube channel. You can do it right now. Please follow us on Twitter @ReporterJohn. And again, thanks to Buggs. What a terrific guest with a lot of good insights. We're going to play out with a little bit of his music, and we will see you next time on Rapping with Leiberman. Take a listen to this as we say goodbye to you. A little bit more of Buggs' music. Listen.
Yeah. Let's go. Optimus Prime in his prime with the pins.